Welcome to the Rise Above show with Patricia Joe Grover, where we rise above our challenges and turn believers into achievers. I just want to take a quick moment and thank our sponsors, 133 Approved Funding. They've been there able to help people keep their businesses open, their doors open, and people employed. But also now they're there for people who are looking to start or scale their businesses, as well as they have consumer financing available for people such as myself so that clients can get the help that they need. So without further ado, let me introduce my guest today on the show is Robbie Mathews. And let me tell you a little bit about Robbie. She actually is also a JD3 TV host. And I'm excited to say I've just joined the ranks with JD3 TV. But Robbie she is a successful, award-winning global entrepreneur, empowering international speaker, financial transformation strategist, an author, a TV show host, and she helps clients transform their financial DNA by providing the knowledge, strategies, and empowerment, as well as accountability that people need to effectively manage their personal and small business finances so they can get out of debt and stay out of debt and spend guilt-free while they live financially free. Robbie is the co-founder and president of the Mathews Group, Inc., and that's headquartered in the United States. I'm so happy to have you with me today, Robbie.
Thank you, Patty, for inviting me to your show. I'm really excited to share information with your viewers and also to be a fellow show host with you on JD3TV.com. It's going to be awesome. There's a lot of wonderful programs out there, and we're going to be out there with some of the best people. So I'm so excited to see your show as well.
You know, it's going to be a wonderful journey for everyone involved, and the viewers and listeners are in for a treat with all the shows that are available on JD.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
I got some questions for you today, Rob.
Okay. All right. Let them rip.
All right. What are some of the major obstacles that you've overcome in your life?
How long is the show? Well, let's see. Let's start with the personal, because there's some personal obstacles, and then of course there's some business obstacles. Well, on the personal side, I started out my journey being a homeless teenage mom at 18 of two children, ages 4 and 2. You can do the math on that one. I didn't have a high school diploma or a job and really a place to call home. But I had that desire to ensure that my children had a decent place to live and had a good life. So I knew I had to educate myself. And so I went to school to get my what they call your general education diploma. And then I took courses in computer programming and got a really good job learning how to program computers. Now, our younger generation that may be listening to the show, I learned how to program on what they call punch cards. You probably have never seen or heard of those. So I started when there were no iPhones, no Androids, and no personal computers either. So I learned how to program from scratch, so to speak. But I was able to get a really good job in corporate America at that point. So that was my first challenge, is to provide for my family. I had another personal challenge. I am also a cancer survivor. I had cervical cancer, and I'm a cancer survivor. So I'm very thankful for that. On the personal side, or in terms of obstacles, and then on the business side, my obstacle was I was a young Black female in my early 20s entering corporate America, which at the time was dominated by white males. And actually I came from the hood, so to speak. So I'm in a whole totally different culture, but I had no fear because I had nothing to lose, right? It's like, this is a job. And if I don't, I'll just find me another job, because I was sure that I was going to do whatever I needed to take care of my children, needed to do legitimately to take care of my children. So I was able to figure out how to work through corporate America, the challenges. I never really conformed to the rules. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons I actually survived, because I stood up for myself. I wouldn't let anyone push me around because, it's like, well, I'm here to take care of my family. So I need to do what I need to do and stand up for myself. And it basically works because I rose to the rank of vice president while I was working in financial services. And it was an awesome journey, actually, along the way. But I had to overcome this whole culture shock going from the hood to corporate America and being one of the few African Americans at that time in computers. In that whole industry. So that was one of my major obstacles that I had to overcome. And then, of course, excuse me, some debt, but we'll talk about that later.
Awesome. So along with that, now on the other part of the spectrum, what accomplishments, Robbie, are you most proud of?
Oh, wow. There's several of those. The first of all is my children. I was able to, raise a good set of children. I mean, they're great kids. Of course, they're all adults, but they're still kids, right? Your kids are always going to be your kids. They're great kids. I have 10 grandchildren, and they are doing very well. And one actually is a great grandchild. And they're all doing very well. They're really good. They're good kids. They're successful. They're talented, and they're finding their way through life and accomplishing their dreams as well. So I'm very proud of going from a teenage mom now to now having a beautiful set of children. And my mom, one of the things she would always say whenever we have family gatherings, it was like, I'm responsible for all of this. And so I'm taking on her mantra, and I can, when I'm looking at them, and it's like, I'm responsible for all this. And, it just makes me so proud to see them grow and to prosper. So I feel, in that sense, my second accomplishment is actually recognizing and finding my soulmate, and opening my heart and myself to being loved, unconditionally loved. And you experience that when you love yourself. You can allow someone else to love you. And I've been with my husband, Michael, and my business partner. He's my friend and my soulmate. We've been married almost 25 years in December. So, that was one of the things, especially, having survived a first marriage, coming out of that. And then finding someone who accepted me unconditionally and loved me unconditionally, and allowing myself to be loved, because, you have to do that. If you're going to share your life with someone, you have to be open and vulnerable and honest. And we were able to accomplish that for both of us, and not just for him, but also for me, because let's just say, being in corporate America and having to stand my ground, I could be a little challenging and difficult. But, having that corporate, don't push me around type of thing. So you kind of transition that into your personal life a little bit. But he was able to just see past all that. And it's like, no, I'm going to love you just the way you are, And so that's, I feel, is an accomplishment, because everyone doesn't, get to find their soulmate. And I was fortunate enough to do that. So, and together we share, and a person who's a servant mind and wants to share, information and knowledge and love and support with the world. And so we both are on that journey of sharing with our knowledge with what we have. So that was one of the accomplishments. On the business side, as I mentioned before, I rose to the rank of vice president. I was from coming in with a general education diploma to being recognized as a leader within the organization, a global mentor as well. and then receiving the Global Women's Inspirational Award in 2017 in London. I was recognized, by women from around the world as being a leader and a role model. And so that was, I think, a culmination of my journey, and that the things that I was doing made a difference. And that's when I felt that it really made a difference. Not just, and I always wanted it to be global and not just, to local, because we're all connected. And when you look at the world as one place, and not as, well, I'm just from here, or I'm just from here, or you're over there, and you're this, and we're all connected. And as long as we help each other rise and help each other overcome obstacles, then the world it's got to be a better place. You can't be hateful when you're loving yourself and you're loving others, right? And you're helping others. So that's something I feel is one of our biggest, my personal and my husband collectively, is one of our biggest accomplishments, is really being able to share our message with the world.
Well, and it's a beautiful thing, and that is definitely a whole list of things to be proud of, Robbie. It really is.
Thank you.
And one of the things you shared just about rising above, and that's why I call it's a Rise Above show, because I help people, and my guests that I have on the show help people, rise above challenges they may be facing in their personal or professional lives. And, and it is. I have the Rise Above show, the Rise Above Summit I do on a quarterly basis, the Rise Above anthology book, and I just started a nonprofit, the Rise Above Project. That's a nonprofit to be able to help people on their journeys and help them rise above whatever they may be facing. So it all ties together, like you said, and
it does, right? Service. Oh my right, because we all have to help each other. Exactly. It's what it's all about. We weren't put on this earth to be alone. We were put on this earth to serve and to help each other. And it doesn't matter, where you come from, what you look like, what language you speak, what religion. It doesn't matter. We're all human beings at the end of the day. We're all human beings, and we all need help.
Exactly, and it is so true. No, you don't get any arguments with me there, sister. I do totally agree that we are all in this together.
Yep.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness. So you got to tell me. I know there's some exciting stuff, Robbie. What's happening in your business today?
Oh, well, there's a couple things, several things. First of all, as you mentioned, with the JD3 TV talk show, my show is called Living Wealthy with Robbie, and it's based on 7 Live Wealthy principles that Michael and I developed. Each of the letters in the word wealthy represent one of our principles. But of course, I'm not going to tell you what those are. You got to watch the show to find out what those principles are. But the first one, I'm going to give you the first one, which is the W, which is wealth mindset, because you have to transform, the premise is you transform your financial DNA, because yes, we can all follow a step, do this to get out of debt, step 1, step 2, whatever, to get out of debt. But if we haven't changed our fundamental habits and the way we approach our finances and the way we think about our finances, then we're just going to just say, oh, I got this blank credit card, I'm just going to go and start charging all over again and getting yourself back into that. So you have to develop habits. So we focus on your wealth mindset to develop that and understand what it means to have a wealth mindset. And we're not talking you have to be a millionaire, billionaire, and all of that kind of stuff. If that's what you want, then you go for it. But you still have to have a plan, because if you can't manage $1,000, you most certainly can't manage $1 million. So, get your head straight first. And then we go into some steps and some strategies on how do you, get yourself out of debt? How do you save more money? How do you grow and protect your money? But each of the principles are for you to embody as part of the way you conduct yourself. They should become part of your lifestyle. And it's they become habits, new habits and new norms in your life. So it'll be interesting and exciting, to watch the show. I'll teach you what each one of the principles are and provide you with some strategies and some steps. So that's the one thing I'm rolling that out. So my first episode is out there right now on jd3tv.com. It's just the overview of what the show is about, which, the kind of things, and it'll talk to you what the principles are about. And the next series will be out in the next couple of weeks, where the series on wealth mindset will be available. So kind of get out there, get familiar with it. I'm also, in full disclosure, I'm a licensed financial professional. And we have insurance products, we have annuity products. My business partners have mutual funds, IRA, Roth IRAs, and all that kind of stuff that we can offer our clients. Because what I found is, as we were coaching and educating, and people were motivated and they were ready, making some changes, and they were ready to put, where can I put my money? It's like, well, I had to become a product of what I was going to recommend to people. Because I didn't want to say, oh, well, just put it over there and I don't know anything about it. Everything we've done, anything that we teach, we have lived it and we have experienced it, and we have shared it with others who have lived it and experienced it. So I became a licensed professional so that I can make sure that whatever I'm referring my clients to, it's in their best interest. So they look at the different options and they decide what's best for them. I don't go out and say, here, do this or do that. I say, here's where you are. Here's where you want to go, and here's how you can get there. You choose, right? And so that's what. So those are my focuses. Also, I have to say, my husband, since it is under is a manuscript development specialist. So we actually, so he helps you write your book. So he helps you make the money and help you manage the money, right? So we do that together, and. And then our online program, we've created an online program for you do-it-yourselfers who like to just kind of, learn on your own, and, some strategies and tools that you can use to kind of learn how to manage your finances. We're not taught this in school, right? We weren't taught it in the schools. Our grandparents weren't taught, so they couldn't pass it down to us. So they passed down their financial DNA to us, which didn't have the education and the knowledge necessary to do the personal finances. So now we have to change our financial DNA in order to continue to pass it forward. And I know, fortunately, some of our children are learning. They're not necessarily listening to some of the old school habits, right? And I talk a lot about that, the whole old school habits, the norms, and that's passed down from generation to generation. And I think the fact of lack of education in schools, and the fact that our parents, and it's nothing negative against our parents, because I was kind of sort of stay away, is that they were taught that money problems were kept private, right? So they weren't shared. And I think that was one of the biggest things that caused our parents and grandparents not to ask for help. And we kind of passed that on to our children, that they didn't ask for help. And so we're just created generation after generation after generation of really financially illiterate, families. And so we have to break that cycle. We have to break that chain, and we have to ask for help, to look for help, and learn how to manage our finances. And that's what, we do. That's what I'm passionate about, is helping you do that. And so, but it's at the end of the day, you individually have to decide and be sick and tired of being broke. Right? Sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck, and make some changes in your life. But it starts with the growth mindset.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And so now that's going to bring me back, Robbie, because I want to ask you, why did you decide to get into this financial education as your calling? Because, it's all, it makes so much sense, the way that you're talking about it, but how did you get into it? Because making that connection will help people understand why you serve, and the value of why you serve, because you get it, because it's so much of, you've done that journey yourself.
Absolutely. It's kind of funny. This journey actually found me through my husband. As I was working in corporate America, I had to travel to London for business. And so I would be gone maybe 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks stretches at a time. And before I left, he had started working on a murder romance mystery novel. It's like, who knew he could write, right? So he was writing his book, and it was really exciting. I was excited about it. And so on one of my trips back, he gave me a manuscript, and it was a financial book. And I'm like, what happened to the murder, romance, mystery novel? And he said, well, his coworkers were asking him, how can you and your wife, afford the high-end cars you had and the house that you live in? And you're basically, from their perspective, a bus driver. And he was like, well, we learned how to manage our money and manage our finances. So he decided to sit down and write it down. Exactly, what we did, our story in our book is called Financially Speaking. The best improvement starts with self-improvement. Create your own economic stimulus plan. And he wrote the first edition back in 2008 or 2007, right before the economic collapse. And so we were actually able to weather that collapse because we did what he wrote down in the book. So we practiced what we preached. And so we were able to withstand that. And, by the time he, for a couple of medical reasons, he retired in 2012. And he decided to update the book. And then we decided, well, let's start sharing this information. We can go to churches and organizations and share information in the book, do a little workshop and sell the book and, start spreading the word. And that was our kind of, limited view of just helping, at that point. We were fortunate to attend a event that was geared toward learning how to speak better. And the organizer said that our message was bigger than what we had envisioned, right? And Michael had an opportunity to interview Mike Dicker that night, and about financial, and about asking him what he thought about financial literacy and education for the football players. And he was like, oh my God, no one has never, ever asked me that question. And, he went on to say how it's important and we need to, teach. And so it kind of validated, what we were hearing. So we said, okay, then let's do this on a bigger scale. And we decided to go to South Africa. And we spoke in front of 1,200 people from all over the world. And that's where we first shared our 7 Live Wealthy Principles. And we were on television and we were in newspapers, and the message and the reception of the message was so overwhelming that we knew at that point in time that this was bigger than us, that what we had to share, we needed to continue to do that. So he came back, and then he wrote another book called, I should say he did, but I did the editing and contributing, but he's technically the writer in the family. And so he wrote A Moment of Clarity, because it was like helping people kind of really think through things. How do you even think through things? How do you even change how you think, right? So he collaborated with 9 other authors from around the world. And they put together, so thinking from not just from a local perspective, but from a global perspective, learning from others around the world. So Finding Your Moment of Clarity, he published that book as well. And then it just kind of caught on fire. People were asking him, well, can you help me write my book? Can you help me get my book? So now he has started a whole new journey down his books. It's called We Create Books. His whole new journey. He helps you get your book out of your head so it can be published and read. And so I'm on the financial journey. And so we refer clients to each other that way. So he helps you make the money with your book, and I help you learn how to manage the money.
Dynamic
when you make it.
That is a dynamic duo right there. Oh, yes. Yeah, so, tag team match.
Yeah. So and people ask us, how do you, you're married and working together, and, how do you manage and balance all that? And it's like, well, they're 2 separate things. Like, our business is our business. He has his responsibilities. He manages his business. I have my responsibility. I manage my business, although I do have to help him on his side a little bit, on the management, on the back office side. But don't tell him I told you that.
We're real here. We're authentic.
Right. So, help him out.
Yeah.
Right, because he's a creative, and so we keep them separate. I mean, we have dinner, we watch watch a movie together. We have our dinners together. We hang out together on the personal side, and then we have our business. So we don't cross the two in the sense of if he's done something over here or I've done something over here on the business side and we had a disagreement, we don't take that, home, even though technically we're all at home, but we don't take that home, right? It's our business, and we try to not to talk business when we're, having dinner and kind of relaxing. So we separate the two. And plus we're friends. I mean, we are friends above and beyond, anything else. He's my best friend. And we don't, we have our disagreements. Don't get me wrong. We have our disagreements. But he gets on my nerves, but I get on his nerves more. So it balances out.
I love it. Oh my goodness. So Robbie, can you, as we're getting towards the end here, can you give us 3 things that people really need to know about finances?
Yes, absolutely. Number 1, you need an emergency fund. I think COVID has taught us that we need to have money in reserve for emergencies. It used to be, 3 months was okay because if you say you lost your job or something, or got laid off, about 3 months later you job. But now with things the way they are, you need to have at least a 12-month emergency fund. So when I work with my clients, it's, let's look at what it would take to get you 3 months first, and then let's add more to get you 6 months so that you can get to that 12 months and have that money set aside for emergencies, because you never know, right? And to cover your expenses to survive, right? Because you got to survive, and you have to thrive, and then you have to feel alive. So it's 3 categories. So I focus, your emergency fund is needed to survive. Then number 2 is getting out of debt, having a plan to get out of debt. And so that, because you carry that debt with you, you'll never be able to live the way you want to live and to realize those goals and those dreams. So having a plan is not just pay off a credit card and then go and charge it again. No, that's not the plan. You need a plan to get it over. And we have plans and strategies for that as well. And the third is proper protection. Now we protect our cars, our houses, even our cell phones, but we don't adequately protect our person or our family's future. So with insurance and with an annuity, so you'll have money available for when you retire to live on. And it's not the same as it used to be. It's about how do you help your children not just survive, have a little something for them to survive. They have to thrive when you're gone. Right. So, having a strategy in place to protect you while you're here, protect your family when you're gone, and to allow them to survive, to thrive. And then lastly, as part of that protection is, I always tell them when I'm talking about it, I say, close your eyes and pretend you're in a hospital bed and you hear all the little whistles, but you can't speak. And you hear the doctor say, okay, well, you might have to pull the plug. And you hear this voice saying, and you're saying, no, don't pull the plug, but they can't hear you. But you hear this voice, oh, yeah, sure, pull the plug. Who is that voice?
Right.
Is that the voice you want to make your decisions for you? If it's not, then you write them down. Put your estate plan in place. An estate plan is just a set of documents dictating what your wishes are. If you got a ring, your grandma's ring, that's your estate. You wanted to give it to someone, write it down. That car that you polish and you protect, and, write it down. So to me, the protecting yourself and your family, getting yourself out of debt, and having an emerging fund are the 3 things that you should focus your time, your energy, and your efforts on when it comes to your personal finances. And, we're going to cover all that in Living Wealthy with Robbie on jd3tv.com, all of those different categories and things. So you can get started, and if you want to practice on your own, we have an online program that'll help you take you through the steps, and you can listen to the videos, fill out the forms, learn how to do it, use your own personal data, and it'll put your plans together for you. So There's no excuse. And I'm just calling you out. There's no excuse. Manage your personal finances.
Awesome.
If you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide, you can manage your personal finances.
Oh, Robbie, that's amazing. That's so great. Nice tips with being just realistic. I teach people with my platform to budget, but not just budget their money, but their time and their energy, and to make their planner and calendar work for them, so they can live a joyful,
yes,
balanced life.
Yes, absolutely.
So Robbie, do you have any gifts for our viewers and listeners today?
Well, they can actually download. We have a guide called Secrets to Breaking Your Bad Spending Habits, because that's where it all starts and how we spend our money. So you can download that from our website, www.tmeginc.com/special gift, all one word, special gift. And then you can download the document and read it and follow some of the tips and strategies in there, to start thinking about how you're spending your money. Because, you can spend, I know you mentioned the word budget, and to me, a budget is a bad word, because budget reflects lack. We create spending plans because we like to spend. We don't like to budget.
Oh, that's a good thing. That's a good
So you spend your money on the things that allow you to survive, allow you to thrive, and then allow you to feel alive. That way you spend guilt-free because you know where you're spending your money.
Oh, good tips. And I love the spin on that. That's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Well, for anybody who'd like to find out more about me, you can go to patriciajogrover.com. My website that has the links for, to be a guest on the show. It has the link about our Rise Above Summit. The Eventbrite tickets are there. For everything, you can find all that information there. But for anybody who'd like a free gift from me, you can text the word GOAL, GOAL, if you're in the continental U.S. to 26786. If you're outside the continental U.S., it's 1-866-926-4020. You'll have stuff come right to your inbox from me. And I'd just like to take a minute again to thank my sponsor, 133 Approved Funding. They may have money when you need it. So if you wanted more information, you can reach out to me to get that. And I have a little video on the way out, and you'll see their card there, the business card for 133 Approved Funding. Thank you so much for being with me, Robbie. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Patricia. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.